Hello friends, welcome back. Today we are discussing budgeting methodologies part 2 where we are covering activity based budgeting, zero based budgeting and rolling budgeting. We will directly move into activity based budgeting. Activity based budgeting is preparing the budget based on the activity level, expected activity level, instead of depending on the historical cost or any other data. It depends on the expected activity level for each activity. Suppose a manufacturing plant implementing activity based budgeting. It identifies that each machine calibration costs $200. For the production plan for the coming period is required 500 calibrations. Then you can easily set your machine maintenance or calibration budget as $100,000. This $100,000 is arrived from the activity, from the expected activities, instead of depending on the historical cost base. So it is a shift the focus from cost center to specific activities that drive those costs. Instead of asking how much spent last year, activity based asks what volume of activities is required to meet the current production plan or current operations plan. So based on that activity plan or based on the expected activity, you can set the budget for the each activity or each cost centers. So this is activity based costing. That means you are setting your cost or you are budgeting, activity based budgeting, you are budgeting based on the expected cost, expected activity levels. Now let's move into zero based budgeting. Zero based budgeting means every budget cycle begins with a base of zero. No expenditure is automatically approved based on the historical present. Based on in the zero based budgeting, every activity has to be justified and has to be approved before adding into the budget. The normal budgeting is heavily depending or relying on the historical spending, but the zero based budgeting is depending on the justification for each activity. Again, along with the justification, there has to be a clear cost and benefit analysis for the each cost. So the management, this will help the management to make sure that every cost or every spending is contributing towards the organizational success. Suppose an HR manager proposes an annual employee training seminar. Under zero based budgeting, they must present data showing how previous seminar directly improved the performance metrics. If this evidence is weak, the budget item may be denied or replaced by a more cost-effective digital training module. So each cost budget or each cost element has to be justified with the expected cost and benefit analysis from that cost center or from that spending. Now let's move to rolling or continuous budget. A rolling budget maintains a constant planning horizon by adding new period or quarter as current one expert. This ensures that organization is always planning 12 months ahead, which is vital for business in a volatile market where the annual plan becomes obsolete within a month. So this is a budget where the management or business have always a readily available budget for 12 months or 2 years based on their requirements. Once a month passes, they will add budget for next month. For example, a retail company uses 12-month rolling budget. As soon as March concludes, the team prepares the budget for the following March. That means next year's March. This ensures that companies always have a full year forward-looking financial map, allowing them to adjust the inventory level quickly if demand shifts unexpectedly. So the rolling budget or continuous budgeting, once a month finish or one month activity is done, then at the same time they will add another 1 month with the budget. So the management or the business will have always available 12-month financial plan at any point of time. Let's move to key summaries, what we discussed in this session. In the activity-based budgeting, you have to calculate the budgeted overhead cost by multiplying cost per unit of activities with the budgeted volume activities. For example, a logistics firm determined its cost $50 to process one invoice. If they expected to process 1,000 invoice next month, the cost for invoice processing is $50,000. It is based on the standard cost per unit of activity into budgeted volume of activity. Just a quick summary what we discussed today. First one is activity based budgeting. It focuses on cost drivers of specific activities to align resources to output volume. Then the zero based budgeting, it requires justification for all expenses, which is preventing budgetary creep from the historical habit. Then the rolling budget prevent end of year spending syndrome by maintaining a contrast forwarding looking horizon. Then the incremental budgeting, it is a normal budget, it's based on or is relies on history, where the zero based budgeting relies necessity of all strategic alignment. Some study tips. When you see a keyword like cost driver, activity pools with related to budgeting, you can choose that this is talking about activity based budgeting. Then if the question mentioned rejustification or starting from the scratch, it is describing the zero based budgeting. As we know, the zero based budgeting, it's required to start from scratch and it has to justify all the expenses rather than depending on the previous spending. Then use of process goal mental check. If you ask you to check if the method is trying to optimize a process, that is activity based budgeting, then the validating an entire strategy, it is zero based budgeting. Now let's move into the activity to test your understanding. If a firm is experiencing rapid market shift, why is a rolling budget superior to a static annual budget? We know the static annual budget is a budget where we will maintain a budget for a particular period. Once that period passed or it is expired, we will prepare the budget for the next period. But when it comes to rolling budget, it always adding additional months once the current month expires. So which will make sure that the company or the organizations have always ready 12-month financial plan on their hand. So if a firm experiencing rapid market shift, the rolling budget is mostly suggestible because it helps them to identify the market trend and incorporate that market trend into their financial planning. Let's move to case number 2. A support center expects to handle 4,000 tickets. If each ticket required 15 minutes of labor at a cost of $20 per hour, what is the budgeted cost for this activity? So it is expected that here the activity level is 4,000 ticket. Again, each ticket required 15 minutes of a labor cost of $20 per hour. So per hour cost is $20. So each ticket required 15 minutes, which means 1 hour they can process 4 tickets. Or per ticket they can process with $5 they can process 1 ticket. So here the total cost is for you have to process 4,000 ticket at a 5, which means 20,000 will be a budgeted cost for this activity. Now let's move to case number 3. In a zero-based budgeting framework, why would a manager prioritize one activity over another after both have been justified? In the zero-based budgeting, in some cases, there will be multiple activities are justified. So the management or the top management will prefer the activities which is completely or mostly aligned with the organizational long-term strategy and goals, and which is generating after comparing the cost and benefit analysis of each activities or each activities, and they will always prefer to choose the activities which is adding more value to the organization in long run. This is about today's discussion. If you have any doubt or you need any clarification on any of these topics, please ask me on the comment section. Thank you for watching this video.